Howard looking to pass right side into the end zone. Jump balls caught!
Unbelievable.
Bo landed.
Again.
Touchdown, Golden Knights.
Again.
This kid is a human highlight reel, folks. He's done that last year as well.
Welcome inside week 6 of the Friday Night Pigskin, presented exclusively by Knox Community Hospital. I am Brian Skoronsky, and we'll get back to the castle here in just a little bit, where they were celebrating homecoming night tonight, and several area teams also celebrating that big occasion. We also had 3 undefeateds enter the night. Only 2 would remain that way, including a big win at home for the Ontario Warriors. We'll bring in Travis Berardi for a little bit more on that one, and actually a whole lot more, Trav, because you want to talk about a scoring fest. My gosh, these guys had a whole buffet going in a first quarter that I'm told took almost 50 minutes. Tons to unpack on this one.
36 right now. If we wanted to show you every single highlight, we'd be going right into our volleyball contest. It's starting at, 10 a.m. tomorrow. But we're going to cut it down a little bit, but show you this great offensive performance by both sides. So roll that beautiful bean footage. Warriors are going to start things off, and the area's number 7 passer, Bogpin Miller, throws a dime to Landon Foltz. He's going to fight his way to pay dirt. Warriors strike early. And there's another Tigers that may strike early. That's a little tease, but we'll go back. What a beautiful throw here, Brian.
Throw. I want to see it again.
Yeah, it's so great, such a great throw by him, and he's such a young talent for the Warriors. That's a good start. And then Chase Studer as well. I think he went over 100 yards rushing tonight. He's going to power his way through with the help of his friends. But Galion would put up a first half fight. Braxton Prosser finds Jacob Chambers on the post, and he's going to complete the 62-yard pass so fast it blurs our camera vision.
Whoa.
And then later, another big play from the pickle juice drinking Tigers. Prosser is going to turn on the afterburners. Is anybody going to catch him, Ski? No, nobody going to catch him. Rumbles all the way to the end zone, 80 yards. This game was 45-28 Ontario at the half.
My God.
If you had the over, well, you're going to win on that one. Ontario then holds Galion to a single score in the second half and caps off the game as Craig Austin Powers, yeah, baby, gets the pick 6. The Warriors go and win this one. You got to take a selfie there with the pick 6 in the background. 59-35, Ontario 6-0 for the first time since you were in high school as a freshman. I was still in 8th grade, 2001.
Oh, I was much more mature. I was a big sophomore.
Oh, a sophomore, okay. Travis, and then I was an 8th grader.
I like the Austin Powers reference. Oh, behave, Warriors, my gosh. The full display tonight, and we saw this last week at the Colt Corral as well. They're way more than just Bogpin Miller and then the running game and all those weapons. The defense, too, even though they gave up some points. Very opportunistic, Trav, scoring some points tonight.
Absolutely. Bogpin Miller, 274 in the air. That is why he's the 7th best passer in all the area. That's every division, every team that we have. He also ran for 91 yards, and then you had Chase Studer who ran for 114, so he's just getting close to 600 yards. So he's getting towards those leaders as well in our stats leaders that we unveiled for the first time this week. Beautiful graphics by our Adam Thompson. Got a shout at him as well, and I know there are some grandparents out there that really wanted it, so you asked for it and you got it, and also thank you to Spitzer. But anyway, Ontario, this team, it's looking like them and Shelby going to be going towards that big battle at the end of the season for possibly an MOAC championship, but good for Ontario.
Yeah, what a fun season that they're enjoying so far through 6 weeks. The best that they've had since, like you said, we were just some younger Tigers back in the day, a little less facial hair back then.
None.
So, yeah, wow. What a start here for Ontario. And let's talk about some other Tigers, some TY Tigers tonight. They had their hands full with the Lexington team that came in, winners of 3 straight. Tigers were looking to win their 3rd consecutive game. Let's show you how this one played out on homecoming night
and
for the Minutemen. But it was the TY Tigers coming out looking to spoil the night, and they would get off to a hot, sizzling start thanks to their quarterback now in his senior year. Here goes Duke Reese. Take it off. We didn't see this much in the past couple of seasons. Now he's got a little bit of sizzle into his foot game. 7-0, less than a minute into the contest, and then just a little bit later, it's Reese again. 13 yards, he breaks him off. It's 14-zip, 9:16 still to go in the first. Very next Tiger drive, Jameer Petty takes it in 28 yards here. It's 21-zip, Travis. We might have a route on our hands, but oh no. probably the most talented wide receiver that we have in North Central Ohio. Just a sophomore, Braden Fogel, winning some one-on-one coverage, 65 yards, he gets ghost. All of this still in the first quarter.
Not bad
That was the very next play after Petty scored. But the Tigers, they kept it up all night. Here's Reese to Nate Dismuke, Nate the Great as they call him over there. That made it 28-10. And then Giante O'Brien, 14 yards from Reese, 37-10. That's the last points of the game. So the Tigers do win for the third straight week and starting to pick up a little bit of momentum. The non-conference schedule, it was very challenging for them. They knocked off a defending state champion, and now that they're into OCC play, Travis, this may look like the team to beat since West Holmes had a couple of key components, of course, to their roster transfer out of the district.
Absolutely, and yet lost to St. Vincent St. Mary's and then to a nationally ranked Madeline team. They went to Delaware tonight, and they were leading against a team there. But also, it was the Browns game of the week, too.
That's right.
Mansfield Senior going to get a check for the win.
Get some money.
Amar Davis or somebody at halftime of the game is going to be able to go up there.
Getting recognized, too.
So congratulations on North Central Ohio voting for that, because it's usually a Northeast Ohio thing. So first off for that. But Mansfield Senior, don't turn your heads on them because they have 2 losses. Like I said, 2 very good losses. They're a very speedy team. They're good on defense. They got the actual juice. I know I keep saying the TI Tigers. The Galion got the pickle juice. The Tigers, TY Tigers,
Can't
they
all
got
the big
the
Jungle
juice.
Cats have some juice? Like,
right?
There's enough to go around, I think, for everybody. Mansfield Senior tonight, forcing 2 Lexington turnovers. That was kind of the difference, Travis, in this game, because the Minutemen actually had more yards than Mansfield Senior, who got to host Ashland next week for Lexington. They're at West Holmes. That's a ginormous Week 7 buffet in the OCC. Could really go a long way to determining who comes out on top, the victor in that one.
Playoff points.
That's right. We'll show you the playoff standings. Well, actually, not the playoff standings yet tonight, right? Just the
I'll give
conference
some
standings.
updates. I'll give some updates. Not
We'll
all
give
of
a
them because
couple
Adam wants to
updates
go home. We
just
all want to
tonight.
go home tonight.
But by next week, we'll
love you, Adam.
we'll let the playoff points start seeping into the show. All right, we're going to take a quick commercial timeout. When we come back, the game of the night on paper, it determined the Northern 10 champion each of the last 3 seasons, probably going to do it for a 4th year in a row. Colonel Crawford at Carey. We'll show you how it all played out next.
At Knox Community Hospital, your primary care physician is more than someone who delivers your test results, more than someone who writes prescriptions, more than someone who listens to your heart. We are your healthcare partner who takes the time to know you, listen to your concerns, and provide you with expert personalized care to make and keep you well. Because to us, you're more than just numbers on a chart. You're a neighbor and a friend. Knox Community Hospital, in the community, for the community.
mammoth mega matchup tonight in Northern 10 Conference play. Carey, the winner of the last 2 conference crowns, looking to make it a 3rd in a row, but they had the undefeated buzzsaw of Colonel Crawford coming over to their place. They have been trouncing kids so far this year, racking up more than 330 yards per game on the ground. That would not be the case tonight, as we'll show you the moving pictures out there from Carey. And early on in the second quarter, it's Nathan Broadman. No signal just yet. The referees confirm thumbs up. It is a touchdown. It's 7-zip in favor of the Blue Devils. And then after a crazy kickoff to start the second half, the Eagles recover. Trevor Vogt on the very next play ties it. It's 7-7 after the 8-yard scamper. But Eli Steen still in the scene as he matches Vogt's 8-yard score at the other end to take the lead. And this game was all about the Carey defense. They forced 4 turnovers, including 3 picks. Austin Niederkor had 2 of them as the Devils would tack on a late score set up by that interception. They would win it 27-7 to be in first place all alone at the top of the N10. And for more on this awesome matchup, we've got the head coach of the Blue Devils hanging out with us now, Jonathan Merschman. And coach, to not just win in this competition, but to dominate a Colonel Crawford team that's really been doing a lot of great things, both offensively and defensively. How good did that feel from top to bottom for you, your entire coaching staff, and certainly the kids?
Yeah, it was amazing. You know, I thought our front 7 played extremely well on both sides of the ball, offensively and defensively, and it was a really exciting game.
That's a town that's very excited about their football. I cruised through some of the neighborhoods tonight and I saw all the tailgating that was going on. It was fascinating to me. You don't see that in every community, so they really do support your football team. If you can describe to anybody who's never been to a Carey football game, because this was my first time coming to see you guys live and in person at your place, what is that entire environment like?
Oh, that's second to none. I mean, it's crazy. You know, Carey loves its football. It's all about football there. And like you said, the tailgating, the atmosphere, everything. I mean, like I heard somebody say earlier in the week, 12th man. We do, you know, our crowd is the 12th man on our team, and it's crazy.
Defensively, you hold Colonel Crawford to just a shade over 100 yards. What was the game plan for you that helped kind of isolate what they did best, and that's run the football, try to turn them into a passing game? It didn't work.
Yeah, that's contributed to our front 7. Our front 7 played excellent tonight on the defensive end. Our outside linebackers helped set the edge, didn't let them get outside, and our inside guys just ate. And I thought our inside 5 played excellent tonight.
Since that 0-2 start, you have outscored your opponents 130-21. What do you think you took from those first 2 games against teams, obviously, that were off to great starts, 9-1 collectively to start the day?
Yeah, going into tonight, they were 9-1. I don't know how both teams finished tonight, but yeah, we played great opponents to start the year. And, you know, that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to get better and better as the year goes on. So to get better and better, you got to, you know, sharpen the sword. And we kind of maybe bit off a little bit more than we could chew at the beginning. But I think right now we're coming together as a team, and we're really finding ourselves.
Well, obviously, Coach, you know what it takes to win a state championship, just less than 2 years removed from that. What are you seeing from this team in terms of characteristics that you like that show you that they've got some championship presence out there on the gridiron?
Well, just the way we've been responding the last games, you know, after the 0-2 start and not just folding the chair up and going home. You know, we went back to work and made some changes. And after we made some changes, everybody has bought in, and it's going real good right now.
It's a beautiful night, of course, too, so Mother Nature is treating us well. I see you're out there, you're rocking on the back porch, you got the kitty looking over your shoulder. Is this a standard post-game Friday night for you? Is this typically what it looks like to kind of take in and absorb those big wins?
Right now, I'm actually just trying to be in some peace right now out of the chaos that's going in the garage right now.
Oh, so the party continues, and naturally, as it should, Coach. So we'll let you get to the festivities. Do appreciate you giving us a couple of minutes here. Best performance that I've seen from top to bottom from any team this season. Congratulations.
Hey, thank you very much.
Hey, anytime. Jonathan Merschman a state champion head coach. We don't get a ton of those calling into the show. That man is one, and definitely deserving of that celebration out in his garage. And I do gotta say, I had not been to Carey before, and their football stadium's a little bit away from the school, so it took me a hot minute to kind of figure out where it was at. But when I was driving through those neighborhoods, I'm not joking when I'm telling you, every other house had some cornhole, some music, Carey flags flying. They are bananas about their Blue Devil football team, and they should be very happy with what they saw tonight. Well, if you're a Wynford Royal fan, you've been very happy with what's been going on in that Copper Kettle rivalry. They're looking for the 26th consecutive win in this Cross City. Do you even call it a rivalry anymore? Let's just call it a matchup. We've got the highlights for you to show you just how many Wynford put up on the board tonight. I think they're probably changing out some light bulbs over there at Royal Field. Here's Caden Blair, 4-yard touchdown run. This was early on in the contest to make it 7-zip in favor of Wynford. A little bit later, Anthony Evans, he scoots to the outside. Nobody touches him. It is 14-0, but Bucyrus coming back. They have the big play capability. They give up a ton of points, but they can score them too. This is Christian Nill from sophomore Braden Campbell to pull within 14-6 after they would miss the PAT. Later on, though, after a Caden Blair touchdown run, another one, sophomore Jake Stover makes the catch. Where's the defense? My goodness, he's going to rumble and bumble 70 yards into the zone. I love how the fans just hang out behind the end zone there at Wynford. And then Bucyrus's Christian Nill, 52-yard off the tip drill this time. Maybe a top play contender. It was 29-12. You're thinking, do the Redmen have a chance? Close the door, baby, because Caden Blair, he's ready to go out and celebrate a big win. 55-yard scamper to the crib. It was 35-12. Our MVP was Mr. Blair. They put up 70 tonight. 70 points. Bucyrus as a team allowing more than 50 per contest. So something's got to give out there. They're now 0-6 on the season. And for Wynford, we know the top two dogs in the Northern 10. Carey just shut out the Royals a week ago. But who's that third team that slots right in behind them? I think you can make a pretty strong case that it might be the Royals competing with Seneca East for that spot. We'll see how things shake out as they continue to keep that Copper Kettle over there at Wynford. We're going to take a timeout. When we come back, though, we're going to show you who our Friday night phenom was from week number 5, as well as your top play of the week, some familiar faces, and then also some new blood, plus 2 more highlights and some conference breakdowns on the way after this.
At Knox Community Hospital, your primary care physician is more than someone who delivers your test results, more than someone who writes prescriptions, more than someone who listens to your heart. We are your healthcare partner who takes the time to know you, listen to your concerns, and provide you with expert personalized care to make and keep you well. Because to us, you're more than just numbers on a chart. You're a neighbor and a friend. Knox Community Hospital, in the community, for the community.
Time for arguably the most exciting part of the show, where we throw it in the time machine. We're going to take you all the way back to week number 5, the best performances that we had right here on the OH Report. We pick them, you decide what was the best of the best, and after the fan vote came in, here's what you guys came up with for our Friday Night Phenom. And no surprise, Cole DeLauder got the Danville fans out to vote yet again. They own the internet here on the OH Report airwaves. And he had some big numbers, though. It's hard to debate a kid that puts up 175 yards, workhorse like carries, 28 of them, and then tasted pay dirt not once but twice against probably the second best team in the K-Mag. So Danville cements themselves as the top dog in the conference, as Cole DeLauder is a man amongst boys out there, getting into the end zone and winning for a 3rd time on our Phenoms Countdown. And now on to our top play, where you're thinking to yourself, are we going to see more Danville again? Could the K-Mag fans come out and just totally steal the show? Not so fast, my friends. We've got some new blood on the top play countdown this week, and we've got this dude right here, Mason Van Tilburg, carving up the Clear Fork defense like a sous chef as he's bouncing around through the secondary, almost not even touched after that first initial contact. Look at what this dude does. Throwing dudes down to the ground like they're just little gurney sacks, and then that juke is absolutely sickening as he takes it in for the top play of the week from week number 5. A lot of fun, and I'm looking forward to seeing what we come up with you guys for week number 6. I saw some cool plays. I've seen a few on the highlights as well. Those come out, of course, on Monday, live and free on our podcasts. But a couple more highlights still to go, and a huge one tonight in the WCAL. Dalton looking to remain undefeated in the league with Hillsdale on the road, and we had Madeline Zazzuto over there to check it out at the Dog Pound, and the Falcons flying in with a ton of confidence. I don't think they left that way, Madeline.
Yeah, Hillsdale won last year, but it was a tough loss for them this year, and let's roll the highlights to see what happened. Starting things off with Brady Hignite. He takes the slant and gets just across the goal line for an opening score, 7-0 Dalton. And on the next Dalton possession, QB Colin Pearson launches it sky high to Cole Wegner, and no one can catch this guy. There it comes. There it is. As he rumbles 67 yards to pay dirt, making it 14-0. Bye-bye. It's 35-0 Dalton at the half.
Whoa.
Second half, and Sammy Tomlinson comes out of nowhere as Fickus loses the ball, and it's retrieved by Matthew Van Bonnen for a scoop and score. Home team rolling 42-0.
Oh my gosh.
But Hillsdale would get it on the board with a 3-yard rushing touchdown by Owen Sloan, making it 42-7. But it's too little too late for the Falcons as Jackson Ryder gets the last score of the night, finalizing things at 57. Dalton improves to 5-1, and Falcons trail 4-2.
Okay.
4-2.
So these Bulldogs, Madeline, I was talking to somebody at my game tonight about them, and I think several in the media and those that watch the team feel like they're a Final Four contender, but I'm more curious about Hillsdale. Even though they're on the road against a really tough team, do you still buy the Falcons as like a top-tier team in that Division 7 region that they're in, or did you lose a little bit of confidence in them tonight after what you saw?
I might have lost a little bit of confidence in them, but I still want to give them credit because they did not give up, like, at all. It was just that Dalton definitely pounced on every single mistake that they made, no matter how small it was. I was also at the Norway game. Was it Norway? Yep. And it was a similar situation. I think Norway and Dalton are just really, really good contenders and really, really good teams. So I still believe in the Falcons.
So now that you've seen the top 2 undefeated teams in the WCAL in terms of the conference race, who do you favor in that matchup when it comes up here soon? Do you like Dalton? Do you like Norway? Which talent do you think reigns supreme in that one?
That is such a hard question because I feel like both teams, it was a really, really good interception tonight. I feel like there were good interceptions at Norway. I thought each team did really, really well. But if I were to just pick off the fly, I will choose Dalton because I saw them tonight and they're fresh in my mind.
Well, the Bulldogs only lost this season to Kirtland, who I think has been to the state championship game with like 11 years in a row, and they've won like 6 of them. So this team, very, very good and trending in the right direction. Thank you, Ms.
I agree.
Suzuko.
Well, Brian, how do you feel about a Dalton-Danville championship?
I'm glad that you brought that up, because we've seen Danville look virtually flawless, dominant so far when we've had them on our airwaves. And now that we got to see the moving pictures with Dalton, I think that that's probably the 2 teams right now that you would project to meet in that Region 25 championship. Still a long way to go, but if they stay healthy, I think I like that matchup, Madeline. Great question.
Of course.
All right, let's rope in Big League Berardi K-Mac Trav now, because he probably has something that he would like to say about this. What do you think now that you've seen Danville and we've got now some visual evidence? The Dalton's pretty good, man. What do you think about that matchup?
Well, we've seen that JFK, not the JFK the last few years, lost their coach, players transferred over and everything, so they might be out of the conversation. I'll show you how that stands up for playoffs later on, but you got Lucas, you got Hillsdale, but I think Danville and Dalton are just a little bit ahead. If things work out the way they're supposed to, we may see a couple teams playing each other before we get there, but that's going to be one heck of a battle. If Dalton do what they're supposed to do, win the games they're supposed to, they might meet for that championship game, and that's not only going to be a great game, but it's going to get them ready for possibly a Final Four, possibly a Kirtland. You saw what Dalton did earlier to them, so heavyweight fight. We're all hoping that we get to something like that, but don't count out the Lucas Cubs and don't count out Hillsdale. They've seen Dalton once now. Maybe they can adjust as they go on. They catch fire. You never know. It's the playoffs.
Yeah, they were able to deliver a good performance against them in the postseason last year. Okay, so we saw Danville kind of cementing themselves as the top dogs in the K-Mac. Who would be the number 2 team? Northmor tonight returning to the Castle. A lot of hoopla around the game, of course. It's homecoming weekend. How did they perform against the Freddies?
Well, they bounced back like they should after that tough loss to Danville. Special teams is what killed Northmor. A fake punt, an onside kick that led to touchdowns from Danville. They lost by 11 points. That's your difference against a really good Danville squad. So how did they bounce back? Let's roll it and we'll show you. Golden Knights looking to bounce back after that loss. Opening drive, A.J. Bauer floats one to Jax Wenger, nearly picked, but Jax would snag it for 6. Next possession, time running out in the first. Bauer's going to find Bo Landon in traffic, and hey, Bo knows speed. He outruns the defense 64 yards to the house. It's 14-0. After a Fredericktown turnover, Landon is going to make the catch of the night, Brian, in the spot where 2 years ago, Melchiori made the Max Preps Play of the Week. Last year, Hunter Falk won our Play of the Week. And now Landon seals off the defender for the Sweet 6. It's 21-0 Northmor, 28-0 at the break. Second half now, and the lone score of the second half comes via Paul Kramer on 4th and goal from the 1. He lunges into the end zone. Running clock. Golden Knights get back on track, 35-0, and it sets up a pretty big one next week, Brian, that would probably determine that second-best team in the area, because they're going to host East Knox, who is right now tied for first with Danville at 3-0 in the conference.
Yeah, you don't want to put the Bulldogs out of the conversation because, of course, they've taken care of business up to this point, but I think they'll really figure things out coming up here when they head into the Castle, see if they can knock off the Knights. So what do you like about this Golden Knights team that probably will put them in a position where they can finish at number 2 in the league?
Well, they have, I believe now, they've forced 18 or 20 turnovers, most of those coming via interception. They also have 8 sacks. The defense can really get it going. The one lone problem was a guy named Cole Lauder, who's a very good running back against a very good...
for a lot of teams.
Yeah, and against a very good offensive line from Danville. But other than that, their defense is very stout, and then their offense is balanced. It was even balanced in that Danville game somewhat. They can run the ball, but also they have the big playmakers. They have a Hunter Falk. They have a Jax Wenger. They have a Bo Landon. So those multiple receivers for a quarterback like A.J. Bauer just keeps it open. But, like I said, they get East Knox. East Knox controls its own destiny. After the slow start, they control their own destiny. They went out, they're K-Mac champs, and they're probably hosting a couple playoff games, but that's down the line. We got a big one. Ken and I cannot wait to call that East Knox game next week, and you and I cannot wait to get back to Northmor tomorrow we're going to be the DJs of the homecoming dance. And also a shout out to the homecoming king, senior wide receiver Griffin Haley, and the queen, our MVP from the volleyball match last night, Maggie Brewer. So congratulations to them for winning king and queen. And can't wait. We'll have a blast tomorrow.
Let's go ahead and bring up those KMAC standings now, Travis, and we'll show the people kind of how it's shaken out right now. Danville is on top with East Knox. Northmor, we know who the lone loss is to. Centerburg, they're a little bit outmatched, I think, right now with some of the injuries that they have going on down there in the heart of Ohio. And I think there's a pretty big drop-off after that point.
Yeah, absolutely. Loudonville squeaked out one against Mount Gilead. That's their lone win. Mount Gilead shut out tonight by East Knox 21-0 or 28-0 Cardington, it's just it was looking like it was going to be a bad year, a down year for them, and so far it has. They do have that one non-conference win, that 1-5, but this is going to come down to, well, if East Knox can win next week, it'll probably set up Devil Dog for the championship, but if Northmor can win next week, they pretty much solidify the number 2 spot in the conference.
Let's move on to another conference. Surprise us, Mr. Thompson. What are we going to look at here? How about the OCC Mansfield Senior, the lone team sitting in first place right now, of course. They've already taken care of West Holmes, the defending champion. So things looking pretty good for the TY Tigers.
They've actually all but Ashland knocked off. They knocked off New Philly last week. They knocked off Lexington tonight for that extra $2,500 bonus as well from the Browns. Ka-ching. And then they did beat West Holmes. So they got Ashland. Worcester, I'm surprised at Worcester this year. They're really, they've dropped off. I know they've lost some great players from their last team, but the Generals having a down year. And then Mount Vernon and Madison, they just can't get their feet off the ground as well.
Let's take a look at another league in and around the area, the MOAC, the most exciting one, I think, up at the top, Travis. Certainly, you see there's a lot of 1 and 2 teams now that are lurking, including the Galion Tigers, back-to-back losses for them. We know the Fighting Scots. They've got Dane Nauman, the Presidents. They've got a ton of talent out there as well, and River Valley can certainly score, but it does feel like it's a collision course, Shelby versus Ontario towards the end of the year to decide this whole enchilada.
Well, we saw the highlights from Ontario's big win over Galion. Well, Shelby got a big win over Highland. Their defense held Dane Nauman, 15 rushes, 61 yards, no touchdowns.
Impressive.
Braden DeVito, this kid is so good. 16 of 22, 248, 3 touchdowns passing. Oh, wait, there's more.
What?
It's 21 rushes, 131 yards, and 2 more touchdowns.
Good Lord, that's a lot of stats.
Honestly, if he keeps doing this, does he go into the conversation for Mr. Football? I don't know. I don't know if he's really good both ways to a good team that, honestly, 2-point loss to Bellevue. They should be undefeated right now. Does he at least get into the conversation for something like that, Brian?
Well, did you see what my guy Pod Penn Miller did for the Ontario Warriors tonight? What he did last week?
This as well.
A couple 100 yards passing, over 100 yards rushing, getting into the end zone multiple times. I think we got
that matchup might have more than just, wins and losses. It might have something like is this kid for real in the state of Ohio? That could get a lot of people, a lot of eyes on them if they keep winning.
Baby Goat's only a sophomore, too. That's what's scary for the rest of the area.
That's so crazy.
All right. What else we got? How about the Northern 10? Talked about this a lot tonight. Carey, I think, really cemented themselves as the winner. This was the de facto championship game tonight. None of those teams that are hanging around there, the Wynfords, Uppers, or Seneca East, they're not going to be able to compete with a team like the Blue Devils.
This is kind of like that Northmor-Danville game we had last week. The winner of this probably going to win the conference. The loser probably going to lock up a second-place finish. And bonus points galore for Carey. That's just going to propel them to probably, and we'll talk about it here in a little bit, but they got some major bonus points out of that, and it's going to help them down the road. But yeah, congratulations to Carey. I'm not going to say anything else. I don't want to jinx anything, but it's looking like Carey is going to get another trophy in that case. Fake Coach Mershman's going to have some more GIFs to make or whatever with a new trophy.
I think it's a GIF.
GIF, GIF, whatever.
Let's check out the Firelands Conference now. And Western Reserve, bro, they're undefeated still, looking solid. Monroeville stepping outside of conference tonight. They lose a great battle with Lucas, but those seem to be the top competitors. St. Paul, an interesting team, though. Are they still a potential?
Well, they get Western tomorrow. That's the game that will go on tomorrow. Big one down there for the Western Reserve Rough Riders. They had the leading rusher. Their quarterback can run the ball. He's over 1,200 yards rushing already this season. I had to double check before I did stat leaders because I thought it was a typo. No, it wasn't. He is the leading rusher with 1,200 rushing yards over Dane Nauman. He has more rushing yards than Dane Nauman. So it's going to be a big rushing attack. That game might take an hour tomorrow against St. Paul, but if St. Paul can get a win, they'll be 2-0, and all they'll have to do is knock off Monroeville, and they'll be back on top of the Firelands after a tough non-conference schedule. It's so confusing of what St. Paul has been able to do this season. If they can beat Western Reserve, they're right back on track.
All right, Travis, I'm going to put a minute on the clock here, and I'm going to allow you, because it's still way too early to start making playoff projections here.
Okay.
But when I hit go, you can just vomit as much playoff information as you want. It's go time.
Okay. D3 Region 10, Mansfield Senior went over Lexington, puts you up in the 4th right now. A second-round matchup with number 5 Ontario. Do we get a rematch? We will find out. Ashland down at 13. Lexington, that loss puts you at 17. Done with 310. 414, Shelby, number 2 behind Perkins. Perkins actually lost a game because of a cancellation, so they're at 5-0. Galion only drops to 6. West Holmes is at 7.
Halfway.
That's pretty much the teams right there. 30 seconds left. D6 Region 22, Western Reserve, if they win tomorrow, they'll stay in the top 3. Crawford, number 3. Carey, number 4. Mapleton, number 8. Seneca East and Wynford, you said, for 3rd place. They're also 10 and 12. So that game will be big playoff points. 623 Northmor, they're at 10. They play number 9 East Knox next week. And finally in 725, Danville's the number 1 team. Dalton 4, Hillsdale 6, Lucas number 5.
2, 1.
Oh, with time to spare, too.
Bravo, sir. Bravo. I think all of our brains are full now of just little playoff pictures.
Actually, probably
all the way
very
around.
confused with everything I just spewed out, but hey, we'll get better.
Yeah, we will get better. I think that we've got some better weeks ahead as well. I know 3 of these last 4 here on the OH Report, we've got 7 live streams coming up each Friday night, and I noticed that we had quite a few comments coming in this week on our matchup graphic asking for this game or that game. Better not see it coming up here soon, because we're going to be doing all the games here in North Central Ohio that I think you guys are going to care about. So we're going to get tucked in, Betty, by tonight. We do got some high school volleyball going down tomorrow inside of the Lucas Cup Cave, so make sure that you check that out. And then Travis and I, we will see you Golden Knights for a little soiree homecoming night. But until then, keep it real, people. Enjoy the rest of your, well, early Saturday. What portion do you call this night?
I still say
morning?
night. Until you wake up in the morning, it's night, right?
Bye.